All right, so I'll get started. So today I'm going to present some preliminary results from a research we are conducting within the Visionary project that, as Alexandra was mentioning, is one of the sister projects funded under the same call. And as the title say, in this research we are going to we are looking at farmer preferences for alternative subsidy schemes to promote methane emission reduction in the livestock sector. And I have to acknowledge that this is a joint work with colleagues from the University of Trento, Claudia Magnapera, Osteia Casematite, Roberta Raffaelli, and Rudy Naiga from Texas A&M. And all the credit goes to Claudia, which is a PhD student in our group. I guess I'm presenting this because she's right now in Texas and it's very early in the morning there. So a little bit of motivation, description of the empirical application, a few words about the methods and results and take-home messages. So time is limited, and I'm not going to present any table regression results. People and colleagues who are interested in this, can get in touch with us, and we can provide this additional information. So the context, we know that the livestock sector, especially cattle, is under extreme pressure. The IPCC, the European Environmental Agency, are telling us that this sector is contributing kind of substantially to greenhouse gas emissions, especially in terms of methane emission. Now, I don't want to go into the debate whether this impact is substantial or not, but there is an impact, and that's why policymakers are moving into the direction of contrasting these negative externalities from this sector. And there are plenty of examples. A global scale, I think in 2020 was developed, the 21 actually, at the COP26 was developed the global methane pledge. At European level, we do have a European strategy to try to reduce methane emission, also including, from agriculture. And so for farmers, they have to adapt to this policy change. And one way to adapt to this policy change, and Soren was saying in his previous presentation, is innovating, right, and try to be more sustainable at farm level. Now, adopting innovation is not easy. And I go back to what Soren was saying. There are different barriers towards behavioral change, and he has done a great job within BEATLES to list all of them. And I have to say that I do agree with the key findings, right, from BEATLES, from this preliminary work from BEATLES. So one of the main obstacle is the financial constraints. And that's what we are looking at here in this research, and also how farmer can actually overcome these constraints thanks to subsidization schemes coming from Europe and national government. So the objective, a little bit more in details, is understanding farmer preferences for action-based versus result-based subsidization schemes. And I'm going to tell you what we mean by action-based and result-based in a few minutes. And then also try to understand whether farmer prefers different approach to result-based subsidization schemes, right? So, for instance, in this research, we are looking at simple result-based subsidy versus carbon offsetting. or methane offsetting in this case. And also we take a step further, and we are also looking at farmer preferences for different policy mix options. So these are options that we came up with, and so they combine action-based and result-based subsidization schemes. So this approach can be viewed as a gentle nudge towards for farmers towards the implementation of these innovations. Okay, so the empirical application. We focus on the dairy sector in the province of Trento in Italy. That, as you can see from the map, it's up here in the northeast, close to the border with Austria. And the innovation we focus on is a specific one, and was mentioning again by Soren, and is feed additives. More into the specific, we are looking at essential oils, in introduction of essential oils in animal diets that can reduce the methane emission from enteric fermentation. Okay. Now, one of the problems with this innovation, I guess, as any other innovation, is that there is a little bit of uncertainty about the effectiveness of this innovation, in the sense that you provide your animals with essential oils, and you have a cost, but you don't really know what are the benefits in terms of reductions in methane emissions. Why? Because this depends on several factors. So, for instance, on the context, the environment where the cows live, on their diets, on their digestive processes, on their breeds, and you name it. Okay. So going back to the subsidization schemes, which is related to what I said, in this research, we focus on two main categories. And as I said, one is action-based, and this is the standard CAP, right? The Common Agricultural Policy, as we know it now. So for any green innovations, farmers are compensated based on the cost they incur, and also for losses in production. But then we introduce result-based subsidies, which is where the CAP apparently aims to go in the near future. And here, the compensation that you get depends on the result you obtain. So it depends on the actual reductions of methane, thanks to the introduction, in this case, of essential oils. And here we differentiate about two different result-based subsidization scheme. One is a fixed payment for each unit of methane reduced. So you provide your animal with essential oils, and for each ton of methane that you reduce, you get a fixed payment, right? And then we have also introduced in this study an offsetting programs in where instead of the European Union giving you a fixed payment, you can get accreditation and get a carbon credit, right? That then you can sell to intermediaries, middlemen, or directly, basically, in the market. Okay. And the two, are the last two, the last two result-based schemes. They are a little bit different, but they have much in common. And then when we introduce the policy mix, this is very easy because we try to do a combination of action-based and result-based, so with the fixed payment, or a combination of the action-based with the offsetting program. So what does this mean in practice? That we create these policy scenarios, right? And so your compensation can come, for instance, in this first graph, as a 50-50. So you get 50% of your compensation from a result-based subsidy and 50 from an action-based, or 70-30, or 90-10. Okay, and I hope this is actually clear. So how do we test our hypothesis, or actually how do we respond to our research question? Well, we ran an incentivized and contextualized field experiment with a sample of 123 dairy farmers in the province, which is not bad since we have around 900 farms around. We do a within subject design, but this is going to be a little bit technical, so I'm not going to go into details. But what I really want to say is that in this experiment, we actually build a farm business game, and we ask farmers to play this game. And farmers have to make decisions on whether to adopt the essential oils or not. And also they can decide which kind of subsidization schemes they want, that they prefer. Okay. And one of the technicality of this methodology is that actually farmers get compensated based on their performances during the game, right? So it's a sort of kind of a mock farm with a mock decision-making process. Okay. So briefly, I'll present some results in a qualitative way. So from our results, we do find that actually farmers appear to be willing to move from action-based to result-based subsidization schemes, despite, there is this latent uncertainty behind the result-based schemes. But I can see value in them because these schemes are actually that they are incentivizing in the sense that actually you can gain more than what you spend, and that's basically the idea. Interestingly, they don't seem to have a strong preferences between the simple result-based scheme, the fixed payment, or the carbon offsetting subsidization schemes, right? While we were kind of expecting that they were a little bit more reluctant to accept the offsetting and the carbon credits because it's something that they know less. And it's a matter of also trust in there, but that's not seems to be the case. As we expected, farmers respond differently to different levels of policy mix, and they do prefer the one in which the result-based subsidy is 90% of the pie and 10% only is action-based subsidy. And this makes sense. They are fully rational about this because by design, this is the most, let's say, compensating policy mix that they do face. But that's not always the case. In some context, and some farmers seems to deviate from this, so they seem to be less rational. And we speculate that this is related a little bit to uncertainty aversion, right? So when we present the policy mix, it's just like we say, well, there is this result-based scheme which is uncertain, but don't worry because there is anyway some part which is old styled, as in, and it is an action-based subsidy, and so you don't need to worry about it. And that's basically, I think, what we found here. And this deviation from rationality, meaning from profit maximization, seems to be more prominent when we present them with the carbon offsetting scheme, right? And so we go back to what I said before, and that's probably a matter of the carbon offsetting scheme being too innovative or something related to trust and some stuff like this, some behavioral drivers like this, which we could in the next months investigate because we do have data about that as well. Okay. And now I'm closing down. Thanks for your attention. These are the links to our project Visionary if you want to know more.